Hello everyone, I'm audhd, and today I'm going to be looking at some depression memes or mental health memes, whatever. They're listed as depression memes on Reddit, but they could be either. So I've been doing some around ADHD and autism as well. Please check those out. They will be in playlists and slowly growing as well. But without further ado, let's check out some of these great depression memes that's on Reddit right now. Now, the first one needs a little bit of elaboration because they've it's not just in the picture, but it says, not to brag or anything, but I've had a sudden sharp pain in the left side of my chest all day. Today's the day. Yeah, this has been a recurring thing for like 10 years now for me, if not longer. It sometimes gets worse. I think it also spreads around different parts of my chest. I think sometimes, to be honest, it can also spread into being something more like inflammation or costochondritis, but that's another path that I can go down with the GP. That it may take me another 5 years to get through. If you've been through that, please let me know in the comment section below, because this seems to be something that many other people have, and I don't believe that every single thing is just anxiety and depression based all the time. There's sometimes there's cause and effect. There's a root problem to a lot of anxiety and depression problems, and so unfortunately some of these are just the side effects of what it all is. So yeah, that's unfortunately just one of the main after effect symptoms of a long-term chronic depression and anxiety. Wake up, do something, do nothing, fail, feel guilty, hate yourself, go to bed. I read them in completely different order. I'm sure you could read them in a better order than I did, but yeah, I kind of feel this quite strongly. That's kind of one of the reasons why I tried to do this YouTube video. You know, I struggle so much with structure, not with structure, sorry, that's kind of what I crave. What I mean is by keeping structure, keeping routine, keeping consistency is what I'm trying to get at. So with something like this YouTube video, or should I say YouTube channel, I'm going to try and keep it frequent, but it's a case of knowing that I can take a step back and it's not going to necessarily hurt anything. At the moment, this can become a hobby. If it becomes more, than great. If not, then, you know, that's what it stays. But this is a prime example of both of those, yeah. And guilt's a heavy feeling between depression and anxiety, a very heavy feeling, which leads into being, like, ashamed of yourself, you know, feeling worthless. It's a spiraling effect. You know, don't let yourself just sit in that pit. Please don't. The very fun thing about social anxiety is that when you don't reach out to people, you feel guilty and like a bad absent friend. But as soon as you do interact with people, you spend the next 3 days dwelling on how annoying you were and how they probably hate you now. I feel this quite often, and to be honest, I'm not a great person to keep in touch with people. I'd admittedly say that. But on the flip side, it's a case of I feel like the whole next 3 days dwelling on it can also be a leading thing for things like ADHD as well. It's kind of like that when something happens in your day and then it's stuck in your head till the night and then you reflect on it thing. That's quite a neurodivergent thing as well. But it can also be mental health. That's not me disregarding that. Obviously, a lot of these kind of go into the same ball and spectrum, unfortunately. But something I will just say as well is that something I've noticed, and this may be just people around me, unfortunately, but you can actually go and interact with people and try and tell people how you're feeling and what's going on in your life, as well as not to make it more about you, because I try to my best to listen to other people as well and what's going on with them. But I very much have a lot of people around me that unfortunately kind of don't know what to say. It's kind of the moment. So when you kind of, I'll say, let your guard down and try and tell people what's going on in your life, then it's kind of like puts you back into the stage one of being an absent friend again. So yeah, it can be a very, you know, vicious circle situation. Stay home comfortably but have severe depression. Go out and feel awkward the whole time with high anxiety. This is the constant battle I'm having. I think this leads more into my autism side because I don't like busy areas. Too much sensory just makes me very ratty. I'll be honest, I get angry with it and I can't help it because that's just how I get when things are too stimulated for me around me. And I think this, you know, it's a vicious circle again, because if you ever speak to anybody, if you've ever had CBT or therapy or any sort of kind of counselling or anything like that, one of the big things is to try and get you out there, the whole face your fears situation. And I've tried to face my fears on so many occasions, and if I'm being totally honest with you, it does the opposite effect. I don't personally believe that everything's a face your fear situations. Maybe it is for more neurotypical people or people who just have mild anxiety, depression symptoms. This is where a lot of crossover can get complicated and blur the lines a little bit. But for me, this is something that's, I try and push myself. The ADHD side of me wants to go out, wants to try and do stuff, wants to get hyper, go. By the time I've got home, I've probably crashed. Probably my tics start and I don't want to go back out of the house for another 3 or 4 days. That's kind of like the circle I go in. It's very easy to watch videos and watch other people on social media and think, well, he looked upbeat, everything looks okay. I'm kind of behind the scenes. I'm I'm not like that, and I'm obviously not going to try and portray that online all the time, because nobody wants to watch a video of me going, "Hi guys, this is what I'm like today. I want to go to bed." You get the gist. So yeah, this is something I go through. If this is something you go through, please let me know in the comment section down below, and maybe we'll have a little chat and see where we're at with that as well. This is a brilliant one, to be honest. I think this has been taken off Facebook or Twitter. I'm not sure. I don't really use them, but I love when doctors say avoid stress, like I can just unsubscribe from economy and become a decorative gargoyle. Yeah, this is something I'm again having massive struggles at the moment. If anybody knows what's going on, I'm not going to get too political on this video, but anybody knows what's going on in the UK with the government right now, there's very much an attack on people with disabilities, people who are struggling. The facts and figures out there are completely different to what the politicians and people who read this stuff in news articles want to tell you and want to know, but hey ho, I think a lot of people in this world don't want to educate themselves if it doesn't affect them. So this is another classic example of avoid stress, but how does one do that when if they have a household to run, they have kids, they have a job, they have disabilities, they have not knowing when their next paycheck or if money's going to get stopped from it. It's not a very nice cycle to constantly be in, and it's kind of hypocritical to say that and hypocritical to tell people to try and go out there and try the best, when on the flip side there's a lot of fear mongering and things that make you feel like, what's the point in carrying on, so I understand this sentiment completely. My ultimate fantasy is having a brain that lets me enjoy being alive. Vicious circle again. Very, very up and down. I've been through CBT about 4 times now, also been through therapy separately through that and privately, and that one of the common things I would say is constantly up and down. It's constantly a roller coaster situation. And there's things that you can try to do to avoid that. You can try and make things, you kind of fall into bad habits. I'll admit that one of my bad habits at the moment is reading the news. I need to stay away from it. It's never good for my mental health. But sometimes it feels very hard to stay away from it when a lot of it feels like it's personally going to affect me down the line. But the whole just wanting to enjoy being, I don't want to, people always say sometimes that their ultimate goal is to be happy. You're never going to be in a state of happy. Nobody is. Things are happy, sometimes there's sad moments. But I feel like the mood I want to try and be is contentment, is to appreciate what I've got around me and just try and enjoy life for what it is. But that's very difficult to do that. And I think there's too much of a rhetoric out there that's kind of just eat healthy, exercise, get out there and you become better. I've tried all of this. I have, if anything, down the line, I've actually got worse, if I'm being totally honest. I really have. My immune system's dropped. I have potential that I've got ME. This isn't something that just happens overnight. It's been happening for like about 12, 13 years now. And that's before it was just much more of a mild, I could kind of get through it stage. Now it's not. So yeah, this is, and it can be just an energy management situation as well as. So please, if you are feeling like this, just try and manage your own energy levels as well as your friends after you talk about your problems instead of entertaining them. This kind of goes back to the meme I actually said about earlier with the whole, you talk about your problems and people just kind of just go, yeah, this meme sums up kind of what I was trying to say. So that's why you end up back being the absent friend, I think. It's very isolating at times. And it's a funny thing because it's the whole sometimes get you out in groups, get your people talking. In the UK, there's something called Andy's Man Club. A brilliant thing that they've set up, it is. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that go to those places and might not feel like they're being heard, or it's kind of like I understand you, but now what? It's not dismissing people, telling people not to do it. If you feel like you're going to get something out of it, then please do. But for me, it is one of those situations of, you can try and talk to people and the people you think you're close to as well as, and they don't. Sometimes you are alone with this, unfortunately. So sometimes, again, it's managing your own expectations. Don't put your hopes in other people's expectations, or don't put your expectations on other people, because unfortunately sometimes you will be let down. I'll finish here with this one. It's a bit of a crude one, but it's the whole person I'm sad doctor. Here are pills that make it impossible to come or lose weight. Person. Perfect. And admittedly, I've had near enough every single side effect on antidepressants that you could go through. I've been through 10 different antidepressants, and let me tell you something, those side effects are not nice. Sometimes you have to come off those tablets because the side effects outweigh the positives that you're supposed to be doing for you. And this comment completely sums up all of that. And unfortunately, it's either the medication, or 9 times out of 10, it's a path of go through CBT or talking therapy and see where you come out of. In my opinion, a lot of it is not up to standard and going to work for a lot of people out there that's suffering. And you wonder why many people are suffering mental health problems. We've become quite an isolating Western world at the moment, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. The point being is just that the tablet. If you've never been on antidepressants, please try other things first before you risk them. I'm not saying they're a bad thing. I'm still taking them myself. But what I am saying is that once you take them, sometimes it is a spiral of constantly a trial and error with them. They're very tiring to try and keep taking. And I do think somewhere down the line, taking so many, they kind of mess you up a little bit as well as. But again, I don't want to dismiss anybody from taking them. Please go and see your GP around that. I'm just telling you from my experience with them. So I'm going to finish that video there around mental health memes. If you feel like you relate to any of this, please tell me in the comments section. Like this video and subscribe for more content like this. These will all be in playlists along with ADHD, autism, as well as narratives and help around ADHD, autism, and mental health problems as well. So thank you very much for watching this video. Bye bye. I want to see you in the next video. Take care.